coming at you live where the gridiron grows. This is the Alexander Scoop Jones podcast. Breaking down the GFL news coming fast. From Gwinnett County, we shine that light. Ton new football, every play, every fight. It's all about the kids. Every pass, every run. We suit up on Saturday mornings, yeah, we bring that fun. So huddle up, y'all. The whistle's about to blow. Let's talk GFL and let the good times roll.
Welcome to the Deep Dive. We're plunging right into the heart of the action. And this week, our focus is squarely on 10-year-old youth football. Seriously, what is it that makes it so compelling? I think it's that raw, kind of unpredictable drama, you know? The amazing teamwork you sometimes see in those moments, those real game-changing plays that can just flip a scoreboard instantly. And this past week, Week 4 in the GFL, wow, this is a perfect example. Packed with everything, huge blowouts, yeah, but also defensive clinics and some real heart-stopping nail-biters. Okay, so you sent in a whole stack of sources. We've got articles, some research, our own notes, of course. And our mission, like always on these deep dives, is to cut through all that noise. We're here to pull out the really important stuff, those nuggets of knowledge and insight, basically give you a shortcut so you can get genuinely well-informed about the GFL, specifically at this 10-year-old level. So what's coming up? We'll definitely spotlight the teams that just dominated with shutouts. We're going to dissect those key plays, the ones that really swung the momentum.
We'll dive into a crazy one-point thriller and even touch on a bit of a mysterious matchup that's got people talking. And then we'll look ahead, see how the standings are shaping up for some, honestly, epic clashes next week. So whether you're a young player yourself, maybe a proud parent on the sidelines, a dedicated coach, or, heck, just super curious about grassroots football, you're ready for some real aha moments. 10 games played this week. That's a lot of gridiron action to unpack. So thinking about Week 4, when you first kind of scanned the results, what really jumped out at you, like beyond just the scores?
Yeah, that's a great question. Because what really leaps off the page from Week 4, for me anyway, is the sheer dominance. I mean, 6 shutouts. 6 out of 10 games ended with one team keeping the other completely off the board. That's not just a number, you know. It speaks volumes. It suggests there's a real divide maybe forming in the league. You've got teams hitting their stride, executing really well, and others, well, they seem to be struggling to find answers against those tougher opponents. These weren't just wins. They felt like statements.
6 shutouts. Yeah, that's incredible at any level, isn't it? But especially for 10-year-olds, where consistency can be, well, elusive. It tells you a lot about defensive discipline, maybe coaching, maybe even the mental side for these young teams. Okay, let's dive into those dominant statements then. Game 1, Archer Tigers versus the Berkmar Patriots. Archer hosted this one. And the Tigers, they came out just roaring, scored on their very first possession. 7-0, just like that. But the real tone setter, they immediately recovered the onside kick that followed. Can you imagine that sideline energy? One play later, bam, another touchdown, 14-0. And this is all in the first few minutes. By the end of that first quarter, it was already 21-zip. They just kept the foot on the gas, finished 35-0. So Archer moves to 2-2. Berkmar, though, now in a 2-game slide down to 1-3.
That kind of that early decisive action at this age, it's more than just points. It's a huge mental blow. Younger players, they're still developing that emotional control, that strategic thinking. They can kind of unravel under that pressure. It leads to more mistakes. The deficit grows. It becomes less about talent sometimes and more about psychological resilience, right? And we saw that exact pattern, that early overwhelming force, again with the Norcross Blue Devils. That was Game 8. They hosted the Mill Creek Hawks. Norcross just exploded. 3 touchdowns in the first quarter alone, 21-0 lead. Then second quarter, their running back just takes off. An 80-yard touchdown run, just streaking down the sideline. Nobody touched him. The Blue Devils looked completely unstoppable, end up winning 34-0, another shutout. So Norcross stays undefeated, perfect record. Mill Creek still looking for that first W.
And you can just picture that Norcross sideline. Pure energy. Yeah. A real powerhouse vibe building there. But they weren't the only ones putting up monster numbers. Mountain View Bears, Game 9. Sounds like they had a star turn, too.
Oh, absolutely. Mountain View traveled to Sekinger to play the Jaguars, and their running back, phenomenal day. 4 touchdowns, just 4, 2 rushing, 2 receiving. Just couldn't be stopped. They jumped out early with a 49-yard rushing TD, just kept building. They even added a punt return for a touchdown. Nice special teams play there. Led 27-0 by halftime. Bears roll on, 34-0 winners. They're 3-1 now. Sekinger still winless. It makes you wonder, though, how do these teams keep that intensity up the whole game, especially when one player is just dominating like that? It's easy for kids this age to kind of lose focus, even when they're winning big.
That's a great point. Sustained intensity, sustained focus, which brings us right to the defending champs, Grayson. They seem to have that bottle, don't they? How do you think they manage it, keeping that focus, that execution for 4 quarters with such young players?
Well, with teams like Grayson, I think it often boils down to a few things. Depth, probably. Conditioning, definitely. And really strong coaching that hammers fundamentals, but also mental toughness. They probably have a bigger pool of talented kids, stops individuals getting worn out, and the coaches are drilling into them, finish strong, finish the game no matter the score. Lessons that go beyond football, really. And we saw proof of that with both Grayson Rams teams pitching shutouts this week. First, Grayson-Green, the defending champs, remember. Game 7 against Lawrenceville-Gold Black Knights. Right after a fumble by the Black Knights, Grayson-Green hits him with a massive play. 55-yard screen pass, wide receiver takes it to the house. Touchdown, they never look back. Added another TD before the first quarter was even over. Led 13-0 then. Won at 20-0 in the end. Still undefeated, Grayson-Green. Lawrenceville-Gold drops to 1-3.
And, yeah, not to be outdone, Grayson-Gold, their counterparts, they delivered a shutout too. Game 6 against the Duluth Purple Wildcats, Grayson-Gold led just 6-0 at the half, so it's, tight for a bit. But they pulled away after halftime. Their QB had a nice 15-yard touchdown run in the third, sealed it up, 20-0 winners. So Grayson-Gold moves to a strong 3-1. Duluth still winless. Okay, so looking at all these dominant wins, Archer, Norcross, Mountain View, both Graysons, what's the main takeaway for you listening?
Look, for you, the listener, what these games really highlight is that at this 10-year-old level, getting ahead early isn't just an advantage. It's often a massive psychological hurdle for the other team. These top teams, they're showing that combination. Strong D, offensive firepower, and crucially keeping that intensity up. It can basically decide a game in the first quarter. Taking control early, staying solid on defense, that seems to be the winning recipe. And for the team on the other side, it's about learning how to fight through that early punch.
Absolutely. It's way more than just the score. So, okay, those dominant wins are one thing. But then you get those moments, those specific single plays that just completely flip the script, turn everything upside down. This is where the real drama happens, right? Game 2, Lanier Longhorns at Buford-Gold Wolves. Buford-Gold was up 7-0 at the half. Tight game. Third quarter, Lanier's got a drive going deep in Wolves territory, looking like he might tie it up. But then the Buford defense steps up huge E. A defender reads the play perfectly, jumps the route, intercepts the pass at their own 15-yard line, and he takes it all the way back. 85 yards, untouched, pick 6 touchdown. Made it 14-0 just like that. You could practically feel the air go out of Lanier. The description we got was absolutely soul-crushing. And then, adding insult to injury, Lanier fumbles the kickoff right after. Buford recovers, leads to another TD. Wolves win 21-0, stay undefeated. Lanier's 2-game win streak snapped. They dropped to 2-2.
Yeah, that 85-yard pick 6, that's a perfect storm, isn't it? Shows how fast momentum can swing and the huge psychological impact. You go from thinking tie game to suddenly being down 2 scores. That's incredibly tough for 10-year-olds to bounce back from. And we saw other big explosive moments too, especially in those neutral site games, like Game 4, Lawrenceville-Black Knights against the Dacula Falcons. Black forces a fumble on Dacula's first drive. Then what do? One play, one single play, 44-yard touchdown run. Talk about a quick response. Puts the other team right on their heels. And they kept it rolling. Added a punt return TD, a scoop and score fumble recovery, won at 33-0. So Lawrenceville-Black, they're now 2-2, got a 2-game win streak going. Dacula's still searching for a win.
And it was kind of similar in Game 5, right? Brookwood Broncos versus Gainesville Red Elephants, another neutral site game. Brookwood had a slim 6-0 lead late in the first. Looked like it might be close. But then second quarter, they just exploded. 2 rushing TDs, 1 passing TD, all in that quarter. Stretched the lead to 26-0. They ended up cruising 39-6 the final. Brookwood also now on a 2-game win streak, up to 2-2. Gainesville still winless. So, for you, the listener, maybe you're playing, maybe coaching, just watching, what's the lesson from these kinds of game-changing moments? I think these examples just hammer home that in youth ball, defense, special teams, and sometimes just 1 or 2 really explosive offensive plays, they can completely rewrite the story of a game, turn a tight contest into a landslide, just like that. The relevance for you, every single snap matters, every single decision, a perfectly timed interception like that Buford one, a great special teams play, an unexpected long run. It can crush the other team's spirit and fire up your own. It just changes the whole game's path. It's why that consistent focus play after play is just so critical. Okay, so we've had the dominance, the momentum flips, but not every game was like that. Some were just pure drama. And others, well, they left us scratching our heads a bit. Let's talk about maybe the game of the week, a real nail-biter. Game 3, Buford-Green Wolves playing the undefeated Collins Hill Eagles. This sounded like a fantastic battle, back and forth right from the start. Buford scored first, went up 6-0. Collins Hill answered back. Their QB scrambled for a 26-yard touchdown, tied it up. Then Buford retook the lead, 12-6 going into halftime. Still anyone's game. But here's where Collins Hill made their move. Third quarter. The QB launches one, a massive 60-yard touchdown pass. What a play. That put them ahead 13-12 with only about 4 minutes left in the third quarter. And that was it. That was the final score. Collins Hill stays undefeated, survives a massive scare. Buford-Green drops to 2-2. And worth remembering, Buford-Green got that Week 1 win via protest, so technically they have 2 losses on the field.
Wow, a 1-point game. It always comes down to just one play, doesn't it? One missed tackle, one perfect pass under pressure. Huge moments for these young players. And speaking of intrigue, Game 10, Parkview Panthers versus North Gwinnett Bulldogs. This one's interesting. North Gwinnett won it, 12-0. Okay, solid win, keeps them undefeated. But what's really fascinating, almost weird, is that there's apparently no video for this game.
Right.
None at all. It's like a ghost game in the GFL records this week.
Exactly. No film.
Yes.
So naturally, the rumor mill is working overtime, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's this persistent whisper going around that Parkview's starting quarterback got injured, like early in the game. Now, we have zero official confirmation, no footage. But, if that did happen, well, it could certainly explain a 12-0 score against a powerhouse like North Gwinnett. But it's just speculation for now. So, yeah, big win for North Gwinnett. They keep rolling undefeated. But a tough loss and a big question mark hanging over Parkview, who also fall to 2-2.
And connecting back to you, the listener, these are the stories that make youth football so captivating, aren't they? You get the pure thrill of a 1-point win, where everyone leaves absolutely everything on the field. And then you get the intrigue, the unanswered questions, the rumors that keep people talking long after the game's over. It really makes you think, doesn't it? How do teams adjust when the pressure is sky high, or maybe a key player suddenly isn't available? That ability to adapt, that can be just as important as talent, especially as the season grinds on.
That's such a great point. Adaptability when things go sideways. And all this Week 4 drama, of course, has shaken up the division standings quite a bit. Let's unpack where things stand now, what it might mean for the playoffs. Starting up in the North Division, Norcross Blue Devils, Buford-Gold Wolves, both just flying. Perfect records, 4-0 each, setting up a monster clash next week. But right behind them, there's this logjam in the middle. Lanier, Brookwood, and Parkview, all sitting at 2-2. Every game from here on feels like a must-win for them, doesn't it? And unfortunately, Mill Creek and Gainesville are still searching for that first win. Tough spot for them.
Yeah, and then you look at the South Division. We said it before the season. This division looked like the toughest on paper. 5 playoff teams from last year packed in there. And man, it is living up to the hype. North Gwinnett Bulldogs, Collins Hill Eagles leading the pack, both undefeated at 4-0. Setting up their own massive showdown. Grayson-Gold Rams are right there 2-3-1, showing that Grayson program strength. Then you have Lawrenceville-Black and Buford-Green both at 2-2. They're dangerous teams, capable of pulling upsets. Duluth and Dacula still trying to get on the board. But yeah, the destiny of this South Division feels like it's really going to get decided in the next couple of weeks. Some huge games coming up.
For sure. And wrapping up with the East Division. The defending champs, Grayson-Green Rams, they're leading the way, dominant, 4-0, looking every bit like they could repeat. Mountain View Bears right on their heels, though, 3-1. They look like a serious contender. Archer Tigers are holding steady at 2-2. And their Week 6 game against Mountain View, that's already looking huge for playoff seeding, maybe even home field advantage down the line. Lawrenceville-Gold and Berkmar are sitting at 1-3, and Sekinger Jaguars still winless, but they're fighting hard for that first victory. And this is where it gets really, really interesting. The schedule next week, it features some absolutely incredible matchups. Undefeated teams going head-to-head. These games will decide division leaders, no doubt. In the North, you've got that monster game. Undefeated Buford-Gold taking on undefeated Norcross. Winner takes sole possession of first place. Huge implications there. And the South. Oh, man. The championship preview already. Undefeated Collins Hill Eagles versus undefeated North Gwinnett Bulldogs. Winner basically gets crowned, kings of the South Division for now. Doesn't get much bigger than that at this stage for these kids. A real test of nerve and execution. Plus, another key South game. Grayson-Gold, coming off their shutout. They face Buford-Green, who just lost that heartbreaker by 1 point. That'll be intense, too.
So why should you care about these upcoming games? Simple. These are basically playoff previews. Undefeated streaks are on the line. The real contenders are going to separate themselves even further. Especially in the South, like we said, the picture should become much clearer after the next couple weeks. This is where teams really prove what they're made of. Not just talent, but handling that big game pressure. The next few weeks, they'll tell us who really has that championship DNA.
All right, let's wrap up this deep dive into an absolutely packed Week 4. The key takeaways seem pretty clear, right? First, Week 4 was really defined by those decisive shutouts, 6 teams blanking their opponents. It highlights, maybe, a growing gap between the top teams and the rest in some divisions.
Yeah, and connecting that to the bigger picture,
Yeah.
this week really solidified that divide, I think. You can see it forming. Those undefeated teams, Norcross, Buford-Gold, Collins Hill, North Gwinnett, Grayson-Green, they are just operating on a different level right now, separating themselves. It's about consistency, execution, probably great coaching too.
And those huge momentum shifts we talked about, that 85-yard pick six, those long touchdown passes, just proves, again, every single snap counts. One play can completely change the outcome of a game, especially with 10-year-olds where emotions run high.
And finally, those division races are really heating up, especially the South, man. It's just loaded. It's leading to these absolutely monumental games next week. These aren't just regular season games anymore. They feel like tests, like playoff eliminators almost, that are going to shape everything going forward.
So as we look ahead to next week, those epic showdowns between the undefeated Giants, what's going to be the difference maker? What gives one team that edge? Is it going to be disciplined defense that just won't break, an offense that finds a way to be unstoppable, or maybe just one single unpredictable moment, that flash of brilliance that flips the script? How do you think these young teams handle that pressure? Knowing you're undefeated, facing another undefeated team, it's fascinating, keeps us all watching, doesn't it? Thanks for diving deep with us into all the Week 4 GFL checks, and keep that football spirit.
Yo, it's your man, Alexander Scoop Jones, coming at you live where the gridiron grows. This is the Alexander Scoop Jones podcast, breaking down the GFL news coming fast from Gwinnett County. We shine that light, ton new football, every play, every fight, it's all about the kids. Every pass, every run, we suit up on Saturday mornings, yeah, we bring that fun. So huddle up, y'all, the whistle's about to blow. Let's talk GFL and let the good times roll.